Welcome back to another episode of the IndyCar podcast, and it is another news roundup, because since our last news roundup, there have been some significant plays in the terms of sponsorship, some interesting links in terms of drivers, and also a little bit of history making from one of our great stars in the IndyCar series. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, Stephen, the first story today is about the number 20 car. We have got used to, well, we know no other livery on the number 20 car. It is the US Air Force sponsorship. It's been cut.
With Ed Carpenter Racing.
They have pulled out with Ed Carpenter Racing, and that puts into significant doubt. Well, it immediately rules out Oliver Askew.
Yeah,
I think Ed Carpenter said, and makes, I think, life difficult for Connor Daly and Ryan Hunter-Reay, who I think Ryan Hunter-Reay was the favourite to drive the number 20 car for the 2022 season, but the pulling of the sponsorship significantly makes this difficult. Thoughts, Stephen?
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Pretty sad to see money leave IndyCar, as we've seen so much money come into IndyCar. Just hope that someone else steps in to kind of, make the number 20 possible. Otherwise, like you said, because Ryan Hunter-Reay was, relying on that DHL sponsorship at Andretti, which the US Air Force would have replaced Ed Carpenter basically in that role, but now he's got Nike. So hopefully he finds someone. Hopefully Ed Carpenter finds someone to keep that seat alive.
I think I did put in our Discord chat, I was like, does this mean that Ed Carpenter could go down to one full-time car and just run the number 20 on ovals for himself? But I think there's a lot of kind of guys out there with financial backing that would kind of step into the number 20 car. But it just means that I think Ed Carpenter won't necessarily get his first choice of who drives into that. Unless Ryan Hunter-Reay can come up with some form of sponsorship, which isn't, for a guy of his talents on track, isn't necessarily opposed, but it leaves an interesting one if it becomes an Indy 500 only car, or, that segment. Obviously, Ed runs the number 20 for the Indy 500, but they also have run a third car at the 500 in recent years with Connor Daly, Ed Carpenter and Rinus VeeKay leading it. It's a very good car at the 500, so it's a very good chance at someone winning the 500, which then makes it a very attractive seat, because you realistically know you're not going to Ed Carpenter Racing to win a championship, but you do have a good chance of winning the other major thing within the series, which is the Indy 500. I know Malukas has been heavily linked with Dale Coyne, but I wonder, because he has the backing with HMD, whether he may try and work his way into Ed Carpenter Racing, which consistently would be higher up the grid than a Dale Coyne Racing, especially as Dale Coyne have lost Olivier Busson with Roman Grosjean, who is a fantastic race engineer.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's a guy who's a possibility. Outside of that, not really too sure. I haven't seen many names linked, but I'm sure there would be a lot of people interested in that seat.
Yeah, it all depends on the money.
It does indeed. Yeah. But it is sad, again, for Connor Daly. Although it looked like Connor Daly was probably on his exit anyway. It looked like Ryan Hunter-Reay was going to come into that seat. It is sad that another sponsor has pulled for Connor Daly's career. But I think if the Juncos Carlin effort, it is going to two cars with that combined kind of merger going on. I can see Connor Daly driving alongside Callum Ilott.
Yeah, I'm sure he's definitely going to have a shot at the 500 with 18. It's whether he runs much of the calendar other than that. Time will tell.
Time will tell indeed. So that moves us on to our second news story. We're not sure who would go in the number 20 seat, but what we are sure is two guys testing for McLaren and Meyer-Shank respectively on Monday the 6th of December is Stoffel van Dorn and Nick de Vries, the Mercedes EQ Formula E drivers. Obviously, Nick de Vries being the current Formula E world champion.
Yes, obviously the team is in its last year in Formula E, I believe. So both are kind of looking for seats elsewhere. And both McLaren seem to love testing F1 drivers. With Stoffel, with Hülkenberg, and I guess, and then Nick de Vries is going to Meyer-Shank to test with them. I don't think either of them are for obviously next year, because I presume they'd want to see out the final year of Formula E of Mercedes. But yeah, possibly candidates for 2023.
I think from what I've been reading and the way that Stoffel and Nick have been talking about it, I would say Stoffel, there is a serious chance that he's considering IndyCar in 2023. Nick is yet to be, I think, won over, but he's very interested. He's intrigued by it. But I would say he is probably firmly, there will be a lot of Formula E teams who would want Nick de Vries' services. And obviously it was rumoured Mercedes were trying to find him a way into Formula One.
Yes.
At Williams, one time with the Alfa Romeo seat. So
the Alfa seat, yeah.
Yeah. So he's very hot property, I think, Nick de Vries. And being an F2 champion, he was the 2019 F2 champion. Obviously, Mick Schumacher was 2020 champion. Beating out Nicholas Latifi, who did make his way into Formula One. He found his feet in Formula E, Nick de Vries, and then, now Mercedes is pulling out, and he's like, come on, guys, again? I've just got settled and make myself a home in a series from there. But I think both are... Stoffel, I think, was at McLaren at the wrong time.
Very much
Formula One.
Very much so.
And he's had bad luck within Formula E. He had a lot of bad luck this past season, just go from there. But if you look at Stoffel van Dorn's junior career, I think he holds the record for the most wins in F2, which I think he got something like 11 wins in a season.
Whew.
So, Stoffel is stacked with talent. So... if either of those guys come into the series, they strengthen the grid.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So it'd be interesting to see if it develops beyond, or it's just like a Hülkenberg seeing it out, or Antonio Felix da Costa, where the time just wasn't right in there. But he is obviously another name from the Formula E world from there. But again, it builds on that thing that drivers are more and more getting interested in testing IndyCar and going, what's this all about? Because it's getting a lot of hype and it's a lot of excitement, and drivers love racing in IndyCar, and I think people want to be a part of that.
Yeah. It's a lot of international interest now on IndyCar. They just got to keep strong with the road to Indy and make sure they always have a constant stream. Obviously, we're going to have, three from the road to Indy?
And because there's so many cars in IndyCar, the road to Indy, the Indy Lights champion should always get a full-time season within IndyCar. Like, obviously, Carl Kirkwood struggled to do, but has secured with AJ Foyt.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, we've only got two at the moment, haven't we?
We've got Malukas and...
Malukas possibly.
No, we've got three. Well, sorry. I think Malukas is pretty much confirmed he's going to be in IndyCar. It's just where he is. Okay. And I think it's going to be Dale Coyne. But we got De Francesco and obviously Kirkwood as well. So that's three promotions from the road to Indy as well. Then you've got Lundgaard, Eilert coming in, and potentially Jack Aitken with AJ Foyt running a third seat. That's a rumour going around at the moment, but obviously nothing too concrete on that as it stands. But exciting times.
Very exciting.
So last story. the Barja 1000 happened last week, and Alexander Rossi was racing in it, and he got a class victory with his team, which means he is the first man to have a win at the Barja 1000, the 24 Hours of Daytona, and the Indianapolis 500. So makes history with that. An incredible achievement for Alexander Rossi, and it's such a weird thing for him. A season definitely to forget on track in IndyCar, but in endurance racing, he's achieved one of the kind of best races to achieve in 24 Hours of Daytona, like the season opener. Big one to win there. Petit Le Mans, they just came second. That obviously was a couple of weeks with a late dive from Ricky Taylor, almost doing it, but I think Mazda won through on that one, having been about 3 laps down at one stage. And then obviously he's gone on and won the major off-road endurance event in the Barja 1000.
Yeah.
So
a mega off season.
Yeah.
It wasn't all fully off. Well, no, yeah.
Yeah, all outside of IndyCar season. Those achievements came, but
crazy. Should we give because obviously you have the Triple Crown in Le Mans 500 and Monaco. Should we make a name for this triple of races?
Well, I was saying the only thing left to do now is NASCAR, someone to give him a seat in there and for him to go and try and win the Daytona 500.
The American Crown.
Just the North American Titan.
That's what we're going for.
North American Titan.
Can
Alexander
Rossi do it? The prestigious and long-standing title of the North American Titan.
Everyone has been fighting for this for years, and Alexander Rossi has finally achieved 3 parts of the 4-part North American Titan. I'm sure there is a name to it from there. But I guess he's got to tick... I guess he's got to tick off Sebring and Petit Le Mans as well on his endurance events. So he can get the, I think, endurance event Triple Crown. Go from there. But yeah, I think this was important for Alex because the IndyCar past couple of seasons could have been a real gut punch.
Yeah.
So to still have major success within a year wherein his bread and butter, which is IndyCar, it hasn't kind of necessarily happened. I think it still kind of drives him forward and goes, come on. 2022 is going to be my year in IndyCar.
We say it every year, but maybe next year will be true.
Maybe.
But yeah, fantastic achievements off the track, off the IndyCar track.
Well, let's be honest. Andretti Autosport have been improving. They admittedly, they did not cope with the change to the aero screens well as a team. So it's taken a lot of going through there. Colton's adapted a lot better. He's found something out of it. But, they were finally getting together in kind of road and street courses for now. And in fairness, Rossi has always looked quick on ovals. He just finds himself in some mischievous trouble, which isn't, necessarily always his fault. But he's maintained his oval pace throughout.
Yeah.
Go from there. So he'll always be a candidate for the Indy 500, I think, on that basis. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it on these, Stephen.
Yeah, we've covered it all.
We did cover it all. Any more from you?
No.
That's it from us then. A nice short IndyCar podcast for you today, guys. We'll be back for another episode of Outside the Tub on Friday. Not sure what the topic will be on that one for now, but we'll let you look forward to it on Friday. But we hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you're new around here or haven't done so already, what can they do, Stephen?
They can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it, and I think about 68% of you watching aren't subscribed. So what are you doing? Click it. Click the subscribe button. Only if you really want to. But for now, you Indy fans, keep racing!